Who do you like?
Minnesota.
Then I like San Francisco.
And they call me a grumpy old man. Are you ready for some football?
What's football?
What's football?
The San Francisco 49ers began this year as the defending Super Bowl champions, and right from the opening break, they began chalking up the victories. 3 in a row to start the season, but then their bulletproof image began to take some hits when they started dropping games to teams with losing records. The 49ers suffered through a series of uncharacteristic miscues that resulted in 4 losses in the next 6 games. A stretch that dropped them from atop the division standings and left them squarely behind the 8 ball. Yet just when San Francisco appeared to be losing its winning touch, the masterstroke returned in a November showdown with Dallas. In a brilliant performance by the 49ers, the Cowboys were sunk, and San Francisco went on to clinch the NFC Western Division title. They have won more Super Bowls than any team in NFL history, and this year's team has regained that imposing image of a force that can produce another championship on cue from quarterback Steve Young.
I think more than anything on this team, we have history on our side. We have people call it mystique. I really think mystique is made out of hard work, dedication, integrity, all these words that make up mystique, that when things are down or you're behind the 8 ball, somehow, some way, if you're in a 49er uniform, guys have done it before, we'll do it again.
The 49er Super Bowl trophy for the 6th time in franchise history. The Minnesota Vikings and the 49ers are chalking their cues for ABC's Monday Night Football.
Well, it's Monday night and we're ready to rock. Time to get all the hits, the bangs, and the blocks. It's the game of the week that's coming your way. Minnesota invades San Francisco Bay. We gotta get ready. We gotta get right. The Vikings and Niners get it on tonight. So get ready. I mean, get ready. Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party. We got Frank and Al and Dan. They're gonna get it kick-started. Lynn and the crew's all set. The crowd is psyched. 'Cause all my rowdy friends are back for Monday night.
Thank you, Swanee. Here go the 49ers kicking off as Jeff Wilkins sends it down to the 8-yard line into the arms of Padre Ismail. And the Minnesota wide receiver and kick returner takes it back to the 31-yard line. And that's where the Vikings will set up offensively. Warren Moon, great years in the Canadian Football League, then to Houston, and now Daniel will be going to the Pro Bowl. Stringer, the rookie out of Ohio State. They begin with Evans and Ant Lee in the backfield. And on first down, the pass is high, intended for Charles Evans, who will see a lot of action at fullback. And Brown, Young, Stubblefield, and Jackson allowing the opposition less than 3 yards a carry, which is phenomenal. Woodall goes to the Pro Bowl. Norton and Plummer round out the linebacking crew. 3 Pro Bowlers there. Davis, Hanks, and McDonald all going to Hawaii. Marquez Pope at right corner. 2nd and 10 with Lee in the backfield behind Moon, and Warren's throw is knocked away. Eric Davis got a hand in, one of the reasons he'll be going to the Pro Bowl. He's had a terrific year. David Palmer, the intended receiver, 3rd down. Well, 3 members of that 49ers secondary will be going to the Pro Bowl. Eric Davis making his first one. Many thought he should have gone last year. Tim McDonald will be going, number 46 again. He went 3 times from Arizona before he came over here in 93. Merton Hanks is going to go, and look at the tight coverage. Number 25, Eric Davis. Real fine cover man.
I think that was Dedrick Dodds, number 33, that came in there with a helmet-to-helmet hit. Better watch those. I'm surprised that one didn't bring a flag. It easily could have.
On 3rd down and 10. Moon, good protection, has time, and then the pass is incomplete. There was contact. Marquez Pope and Chris Carter got together. They are joined. No flag, and the Vikings are 3 and out in their first series, and Dennis Green's team to punt. Chris Carter slipping on this field, too. It's a little treacherous down there. It has been. It's been very wet out here in the Bay Area. Good positioning by Pope, who
also went down. Looked like a little sumo wrestling there. Little contact downfield.
Mike Saxon to punt. Dexter Carter back to receive it. 36-yard kick to the 33, and Dexter Carter, who began the year with the Jets and was picked back up by the 49ers, takes it across midfield to the 48-yard line, and there's a marker down as Richard Brown makes the tackle. Referee tonight is Walt Coleman. Line judge Mark Stein-Kirchner making the call. And the penalty against the 49ers, he indicated unsportsmanlike conduct with the signal, and we'll get the call in a moment.
We have an unsportsmanlike block out of bounds by number 22 of the return team during the return, 15 yards from the end of the run, first down.
Tyrone Drakeford, who plays in their nickel as they work on Gary Plummer's neck, and also plays on special teams. Now let's take a look at the 49ers offensively. Penalty takes them back, led by Steve Young.
Okay, man.
Steve missing 5 games because of the shoulder injury. In the middle of the year, Elvis Gerbach took over, and the last time we saw Gerbach, he was leading the Niners to a big win in Miami. So last year's Super Bowl MVP gives it to Derek Lavelle. A sweep to the short side of the field and a minimal gain up to the 39. Jeff Brady taking the spot of the injured Jack Del Rio with the tackle. Sapolo, Oates, Milstead, and Barton up front. Bart Oates going to the Pro Bowl as an alternate. Second down and 8 with Jones in motion. And Young finding Taylor, who juggles the ball and maintains possession and then gets pushed all the way back. And forward progress is up to the 39-yard line, setting up a third down and 8.
That time the 49ers coming with the 3 wide receivers, but Brent Jones works as a move man in that 3 wide receiver set, and really basically gives them 4 men who can take the ball deep downfield. One of the better tight end receivers in this game. As you see, Taylor short of the first down. He almost lost the football. Murray heads up, got his hands back on it.
Broderick Thomas jarred it loose. Third down and 8 now. Young with time and then throws, and it's picked off by Orlando Thomas, who leads the league. The rookie from southwestern Louisiana has just intercepted his 9th pass of the season, and he also has 3 fumble recoveries, the 12th takeaway for the rookie.
And a rare, poorly thrown ball by Steve Young, Dan. That was overthrown, and Thomas was there. He plays center field about as good as any rookie I've seen come into this league. But this ball just flat overthrown. Agree with you that it's an overthrown ball by Steve Young, but in reality, I think Young was throwing to a spot that John Taylor just can't get there. On that break, he's extreme. Watch him right here grab his right hip. It's been bothering him, and I think that's a case where Steve Young threw to a spot. John Taylor physically not able to get there, and you see him right now. He's leaving the field, walking around, trying to get loose. He's on his way in for presumably an X-ray. And so obviously we'll see a lot more of J.J. Stokes, but I think that was more Taylor than Young.
This is Scotty Graham taking the handoff and stopped at the line of scrimmage by the venerable Ricky Jackson at the age of 37, now in his 15th year. Played at Pittsburgh and for many years with the New Orleans Saints.
He's found the fountain of youth again. 7.5 sacks for Jackson, but this entire defense has been brutal against the run. You have to try to run a little bit to slow down the pass rush, but nobody has been able to run the ball against them.
On second and 10, Moon slips on the soggy turf, and then the pass is incomplete. Ismail never had control of it, and it will be third down. Marquez Pope covering on the play, and you have
on that one. Talk about sitting on a pattern. That one had no shot.
Third and 11. 2 minutes and 40 seconds into the game with no score. Moon seeking his first completion and still doesn't have it, as it was knocked out of the arms of Jake Reed by Dedrick Dodge.
Yeah, but it's a swarming secondary, and Dan touched on it earlier. This is a team that they play better than they talk in an era when most teams talk better than they play, but they are coming in here with such a swagger tonight. They know they are good. 3 of the members of the secondary going to the Pro Bowl, and 7 members from this defensive unit. They are just playing so well on defense.
So the interception by Young doesn't hurt the 49ers as the Vikings can't capitalize. Saxon's kick. Fair catch is called for, but Carter can't get there. And then it is covered up back at the 15-yard line by Merton Hanks because it deflected off Carter and was a live football. So the alert Hanks is there to cover up. Niners take over deep. 4 to go. Opening quarter. J.J. Stokes is in the game. Their number 1 draft choice from UCLA. The rookie taking the spot of John Taylor, who's back in the locker room. On first down, Young's pass is too low and dropped by Lavelle. So we have not had a completed pass in the game. Between the 2 quarterbacks, they are a composite 0 of 8 of the year. Rice in motion on 2nd and 10. Derek Lavelle goes next to nowhere, getting it up to the 16-yard line, and tackled there by Brady. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Chrysler, leader.
Jack Del Rio out now several weeks with a bad knee and being replaced by Jeff Brady, who is doing a fine job as middle linebacker.
Young on 3rd and 9, and the first completed pass of the game to who else? Jerry Rice. First down up at the 35-yard line, tackled by Brady.
Well, a zone defense by the Minnesota Vikings, and Jerry Rice just finding the smallest of seams, and a pinpoint pass here. Look at him fake that, just that little juke to the outside. He gets Broderick Thomas to go with it, and then he just folds back inside into that soft spot. Amazingly, the first 49er completion.
Off the play fake, a terrible looking screen, and the best thing that could happen did for the 49ers as Walker dropped it.
Everyone who plays the 49ers, it's how well they tackle once they get to the 49er receiver. We all know how often they break tackles and go the distance.
Young on 2nd and 10, dumps it off, and then it's dropped by Walker, and he did not have possession of it. Incomplete. Ed McDaniel right there, covering on the play. Incomplete. Well, William Floyd, the great 49er fullback, and what a loss it was when he went down in mid-year, and some thought it was a career-threatening injury, but George Seifert said, I think he's going to be back by the beginning of next season.
And he was honored here tonight before the beginning of the game as the winner of their Len Eschmont Award, which is really the number 1 award that a 49er can receive. It's for their inspirational play, and William Floyd, beloved by his 49er teammates and honored tonight.
Severe knee injury, and he'll probably need even more surgery. 3rd down and 10, and Brent Jones gets free over the middle, and the tight end takes it all the way to the Minnesota 37, where Brady runs him down.
Well, you get the 3 wides, you get Stokes, you get Rice, and Brent Jones is just another wide receiver. He can range so far downfield. He maybe not the toughest blocking tight end in the league, but you can use him in so many ways. He comes right across the middle and under the Tony Dungy zone, and that's what we're going to see most of tonight. He is wide open. Good timing between Steve Young and Brent Jones. 54th reception for Jones, who will not be going to the Pro Bowl this year for the first time in several.
Lavelle in motion. Young finds J.J. Stokes, and he gets banged down at the 26, and that's close to a first down. Broderick Thomas, that time came charging in and decked Young as he released.
Stokes locked up on Corey Fuller, the rookie from Florida State, out on the right side, and Stokes is big. 6'4", he's a great target. And Young a little high with this ball, but it didn't matter.
Here comes Thomas, number 51, and that's the bad shoulder, left shoulder of Steve Young, and he lands right on it. And I'll guarantee you that George Seifert's heart jumped right up into his throat when he saw Young land.
This is the 8th play of the drive. Lavelle knifes his way inside the 25 to the 23-yard line behind a Harris-Barton block. The skirmish right there with Rod Milstead involved. And Derek Alexander, the rookie.
It was a good cutback on the part of Lavelle, looking out of the backfield.
Young on 2nd and 7, throws. Stokes! Great spin move. It'll be 1st and goal at the 7. They traded up in the draft with Cleveland to pick up J.J. Stokes out of UCLA, and he's the guy who will replace Taylor next year and someday fill Rice's role, they hope.
He didn't have a great year as a senior year. He was injured at UCLA. Had a great year as a junior year. But watch him move after he catches the football. He is a big man, 6'4", 217 pounds, but he has shown great skill at running with the football after he catches it.
Yeah, just ask Dwayne Washington. He'll agree with that.
1st and goal out of a 2-back set. Lavelle goes absolutely nowhere, running into the middle of that Viking line. Only
to the ball carrier, to the receiver, must make contact. If you don't bring him down, you at least have to slow him down.
11th play of the drive. Lavelle splits left as a receiver. Jones in motion on 2nd and goal. They fake it to Walker. Pressure on from Thomas, who gets him from behind and buries him at the 8-yard line. Broderick Thomas stopping them at the line of scrimmage. 3rd and goal.
And Thomas saved a 6-pointer.
Well, Frank, I know one thing. This second time this drive, they've let Broderick Thomas come in uncontested. That can't continue.
3rd down and goal. With Rice in motion to the inside. Young throws. Hits Rice. Touchdown.
That's the second time this drive that the Vikings DBs have been forced to miss.
144. And the record keeps climbing for Jerry Rice. But what a good move after he caught the football.
Well, it's just a 1-yard pass, Frank. Watch Rice. That's him on the left. He just goes 1 yard beyond the line of scrimmage and catches his football. The rest of it is Jerry Rice. Dwayne Washington can't get back. Orlando Thomas, he misses, but Jerry Rice was already in the end zone. Again, a very short completion. The rest of it, the damage put on by the receiver, and that's blocked.
Yep, Jeff Wilkins, who's been a godsend for them, picked up in midseason, has that one blocked by Fernando Smith.
Extremely low. Take a look at Smith hits it right with his forearm, and we're going to show you exactly why that happened. Wilkins hits the ground well behind the football. As soon as the kickoff return here, we'll give you a look.
His kick is a pretty short one, taken to the 12-yard line by Padre Ismail. And the Rockets brother back up to the 29. Another look at Wilkins' first missed extra point after 22 successful conversions this year.
Elvis Gerbach's the holder. He's going to put the ball here. I want you to look at the ground right in front of the left foot of Elvis Gerbach and watch the ground as Wilkins kicks well behind the football. He hits the ground a good 6 inches behind the leather.
Back to San Francisco, 6:18 to go in the opening quarter. The 49ers leading 6-0, and Robert Smith is in the game. He's their leading ground gainer, but he's played sparingly because of an ankle injury over the last month and a half. They fake it to him, pump fake by Moon, and then Warren going deep, but incomplete. A flag comes in. Eric Davis pushing Chris Carter, or vice versa.
Well, Chris Carter pushed off Eric Davis, and they were right on top of it. These big receivers, they don't have to push off as much as they do, and they're starting to call this all around the league.
Well, it's the Michael Irvin syndrome.
It certainly is, and it's infectious because it just takes a little bit of a shove. If you can just get just a little, this is so obvious.
Watch the left hand. The left hand right about here.
Just
there
enough.
it is.
And look how that slows down Eric Davis.
Yeah.
That's what it'll do to a defender.
Yeah.
You have to be a little more subtle than that. Meanwhile, Moon took quite a shot.
Well, Warren held the ball for a good 6 seconds, and it's almost impossible for a QB to hold it that long. Dana Stubblefield, the guy that delivers the shot, but give Warren credit. He stood in there to try to make something happen.
1st and 20 from the 19-yard line, and Ricky Jackson is in the backfield. Greg DeLong with a false start to tight end. They're really hurting at tight end, and DeLong making the start, a rookie out of North Carolina.
False start prior to the snap, number 85. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, Wow, that's a real understatement to say that they're hurting a tight end. Both Adrian Cooper and Andrew Jordan, their number 1 and number 2 tight ends, are sitting this thing out because of injuries. They're down to DeLong and Mike Tice, who used to play for the Vikings. Didn't play at all last year, and all of a sudden, a week ago, they've got to bring him back.
First down now at 25. Four-man rush, Moon throws, and the catch made by Carter. He pays the price at the 26-yard line. He gets banged down by the hard-hitting Tim McDonald on his way to the Pro Bowl, as is Carter as a reserve.
A league that plays with more pride as a unit than this 49er secondary.
You want to look around when you're downfield and McDonald's down there because he will unload. Good catch by Carter.
Second and 13 with 5.5 minutes to go in the quarter. 49ers leading 6-0. The blitz is on. McDonald comes charging in, and it is dropped by the former 49er, Amp Lee, over the middle.
Ooh, you got to catch it before you run with it.
Well, and it's everything you could hope for, too. The blitz right up the middle of the field, and you're able to get the ball past the blitz, past that first wave to the running back. That could have been a very big play for the Vikings if Lee doesn't drop the ball. It's everything you look for. Look at that, the safety blitz by McDonald.
Oh, he just took his eyes off it. Moon had it right in there.
That could have been a 20 or 30-yard play if they just get the one block.
Third and 13 at the 26. Four-man rush and good protection, and the pass is caught by Greg DeLong, the tight end, but he is short of the first down by about 4 yards. Tackled by Merton Hanks, and the Vikings will kick with Saxon.
Oakland, but I don't see Pete Carroll going back to Long Island.
Saxon to kick, Carter back to receive it. 43-yard boot. Dexter Carter has room to roll. He's gone. Dexter Carter all the way for a touchdown.
He won't go back to Long Island either.
Can you spell backbreaker?
78-yard return. Marquez Pope throwing a key block.
He really threw just about the block.
Dexter Carter let go by the Jets earlier this year. Former 49er. Fumbled the ball frequently early in the year for the Jets. And, well, it could be a backbreaker. Take a look at it. A little look to the left and then spotting the opening and then just turning it on.
And the 49ers will go for 2, having missed the earlier conversion after Carter's second career punt return for a touchdown. The other, ironically, against the Vikings in '93 as a 49er. He was with the 49ers, went to the Jets, and now back. Going for a deuce to try to make it 14-0 with Jones in motion. And the pass is knocked away. Getting a hand on it was Jackson. And the flag is down. Alfred Jackson knocked it down. Walt Coleman, the referee.
It's probably a line of scrimmage penalty because there are flags on both sides of the end zone.
Against the Vikings indicated.
Screen, and he just gets a little bit of a head start trying to anticipate the snap count.
This will change the offense you play, too. Now you have just 1 yard to go. To give Steve Young a little bit of a roll. That's the best way.
Yep. They run it in. Lavelle in there.
Well, the San Francisco kid does well. Just a little bit of a delay. Steve Young drops back, gets it in the end zone, but all because of this man's return. Dexter Carter, untouched by Minnesota Vikings. Flair, and he takes it the distance. 14 scratch.
They are in the playoffs. Otherwise, they are in huge trouble.
They're in doo-doo.
Rams. This is Qadre Ismail, who runs into Mitchell and then is pushed back from the 25-yard line.
Al, let me ask you a question. Was that the longest punt return of the season?
Dan, I've thought about it. I don't believe so because I recall Joey Galloway earlier this season in a Seattle Giant matchup. In fact, it was November 5th, took a punt at his 11-yard line, and as I recall, rambled and ambled down the right sideline, avoiding tacklers, and he went in for an 89-yard score.
Look at that rookie go.
Boy, do we have our finger on the pulse.
I can't believe I mentioned it, and you guys got it up that quickly.
We have no pulse, but our fingers on one. At the 25-yard line, here's Robert Smith picking up the yard to the 26.
Vikings still looking for their initial first down. Well, against the NFL's second best defense through 15 weeks of play.
This is the prescription for disaster that Denny Green and the Vikings just talked about all week. Cannot fall behind on the road against a team as talented as the 49ers in a pressure situation.
And more good news for the 49ers as John Taylor, who had an aggravated right hip, comes trotting back toward the 49er bench at the second down and 9. Moon throwing, and the catch is made, but it's a very minimal gain as Carter hauls it into the 29 and is spun down by Drakeford. It'll be 3rd and 6.
I'm not sure I've seen a Viking receiver any further than about maybe a yard or two from a 49er defensive back. This is almost a case as if the 49ers are inside the Viking huddle and getting the pass plays. They are smothering this passing game of the Vikes.
Vikings have big receivers in Jake Reed and Chris Carter on the outside, but they do not have great speed, and this is a very quick secondary. They'll play Carter and Reed very tight, and they have already tonight.
Just look at this, though. Every 49er within 10 yards of the line.
And the secondary does its job, and the pass is thrown into traffic and is nearly picked off. Incomplete. Eric Davis was right there. So the 49ers have stymied them again. Let's get a word from Lynn Swann.
Wow.
On the bench, we'll probably see him in the next series. Carter back to receive this kick off the foot of Mike Saxon. Short kick. A 33-yarder, and it's fair caught at the 37-yard line by Dexter Carter. Monday Night Football a few years back in Anaheim.
We'll never forget that night, will we?
Joe Montana linking with John Taylor, not once but twice for touchdown passes of more than 90 yards.
And I think that those receptions actually averaged, the throw was what? They were about 7 yards apiece. All the damage again after the catch.
From the 37-yard line, Lovell makes the catch and comes close to getting a first down before he's rolled down by McDaniel up near the 48-yard line.
Interesting play, the most simple of plays. A little draw action to Lovell, but they have it to perfection.
Taylor in that Monday night game in Anaheim, 286 yards and 11 catches that night. Not a bad night.
That's a season.
Second down and 1. And Adam Walker is able to roll and with forward progress has the first down as Ed Brady makes the tackle in the middle of the logo and a late flag comes in.
Taylor's going off to the trucking business back east. His brother.
Dennis Green looking on now as a face mask infraction has been signaled against his team.
5 yards. Defense number 92. 5 yards into the run. First down.
Second penalty on Roy Barker in this
one. You let go of it, but that head moves at all. The official's going to give you the flag, and Roy Barker gets that one.
They really didn't do a lot of damage for Minnesota. Walker picked up the first down anyway. It was just 5 yards.
Super slow-mo makes everything very obvious. From the 46-yard line, Young escaping, comes close to crossing the line of scrimmage, and then wide open is Rice. How in the world can he get that open?
How can Steve Young have that much awareness about where the line of scrimmage is?
One of the reasons Rice was open, Steve Young is such a threat to run the football, and he came out of the pocket, looked like he was going to run for a moment. That just freezes the secondary. They're looking back into the backfield. They're watching in the zone. They're watching Young. They see him do that, and they react.
Frank, it's also got to be a blown coverage by Minnesota. There's somebody has to stay in center field. Right there, once Jerry Rice is past those two guys, there's nobody in center field. You can't vacate the middle of the field against the San Francisco 49ers. Orlando Thomas is all the way back in the end zone.
Can't do much good back there.
Wilkins for the point after.
Remember last night I asked Dennis Green about what's it like when you're watching a blowout unfold. We were watching the Raider game last night. I said, what do you say? His answer, not a whole lot.
Receiving record, 3 catches tonight. He, of course, is the all-time touchdown leader and is in fantastic shape. He's 33 years old, but here's a guy who looks like he can play 5, 6, 7 more years.
Never been hurt. He works so hard in training camp, works during the off-season, works during the season, is in great physical shape, but more than that, he's an inspiration to all the other 49er receivers to try and stay with him.
1:23 left in the quarter. The kickoff from Wilkins taken by Ismail. And from the 10-yard line, he runs it right down the sideline, still in bounds. And that is the spark that the Vikings so desperately need as he's knocked out of bounds at about the 19-yard line. Dedrick Dodge makes the tackle, and so Ismail at a point in the game when
Ismail turns it on down the sidelines, gets a good block, and then breaks the block of Amp Lee. Amp Lee with a fine block, and now for the Vikings, they need to get something happening offensively.
his career. From the 19-yard line, Moon throwing to DeLong, the tight end, for a short gain. Forward progress to the 14, 4 times in a row.
Add those up quickly for a grand total of 10 yards. One on poor coverage and part of his secondary, and Dennis Green is muttering to himself.
On 2nd and 5, McDonald blitzing, and there's the tight end again. Merton Hanks tackles DeLong, and the ball just does go out of bounds. They will mark it at the 11-yard line. Bryant Young created the fumble with the hit.
This is as swarming a defensive effort so far in this quarter that I've seen any team put on just about all season long. DeLong has 5 49ers lining up to put a tattoo on him. There's Merton Hanks, the first one here, but here they come. These guys are just lining up for shots.
End of the quarter, and Monday Night Football resumes after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Okay, with a defensive
by Bryant Young, a defensive tackle, and then look at the reaction of the 49er bench. This is a team, and then Ken Norton trying to save the ball from going out. There's Jordan and Cooper. That's Cooper on the left, Jordan on the right, and they are reduced to watching this game from the sideline.
The 2 injured tight ends, 3rd and 2 as the second quarter begins, and the pass is incomplete. Good coverage. Moon had to check off, tried to hit Evans out in the flat. Pope they're covering, and the Vikings will have to settle for a field goal attempt.
right now, this 49er defense is just overwhelming Minnesota. The break that they got with Ismail's return, they're going to have to settle for the field goal attempt. They're just unable to move the football. They're just being totally overwhelmed.
This will be a 30-yard attempt. Fuad Rovez, officially 29 yards. Mike Saxon to put it down, and the kick is good. So Ismail with the run back.
Genuine draft, the world's a very cool place.
ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Miller Brewing Company, Wadero Center in downtown. Beyond the Bay, cool night. 49ers have made it an exciting night for the crowd here. 21-3, they lead it. Among other things, the Detroit Lions are very happy right now, and we'll tell you why in a moment as the kick comes into the arms of Dexter Carter at the 11. And he runs it back up to the 39. Among other things, if the 49ers beat the Vikings tonight, and they're leading by 18, the Lions are in the playoffs officially. First quarter numbers. Ooh.
And that
staggering
interception, the turnover by the 49ers, not causing them any damage, but only 33 total yards for the Vikings, no first downs. Just the only...
Young on first down. Jones reaches for it. The ball is loose, and they indicate it's a live football, and Jeff Brady gets ridden down by Lavelle.
Wait a minute.
and now the other official is saying the play is dead. Now, one official said nothing, which would indicate the play was alive, and naturally we'll have a conference.
Luckett, the field judge, was the guy who came
ruled incomplete. Second down.
and called it incomplete.
And it's 2nd and 10 as the Niners keep it, and Lavelle can't get out of the backfield as the tackle is made by Martin Harrison. Complete pass.
Brent Jones, the receiver, thrown behind him a little bit. He never controlled it. It obviously hit the ground, and Dave Young knew that it hit the ground. I think it was so obvious that maybe it didn't even get the call.
Well, Frank, but they've got to call it.
Well, I know they did, but they didn't, Dan.
No, I know they didn't. That's what I'm saying. Luckett alertly, all the way down the field, called it an incomplete pass.
3rd down and 11 as Young throws. Rice and Jerry tries to squirt forward for a first down, but comes up about 2 yards short. And that's the 100th catch of the season for Jerry Rice. It's the 3rd time in his career. You go back to September of '85. Here is the first catch Jerry Rice ever made, and it came against the Vikings on opening day '85 in Minnesota.
Matt Cavanaugh, was it? Threw that ball?
Yep, it was. And there are the numbers right up to the moment.
Only receiver ever to put together 3 100-yard seasons, and he's got another game remaining after this one.
49ers with their first punt of the game as Tommy Thompson sends the ball to about the 5-yard line, and Dedrick Dodge downs it there. Offense, defense, special teams, everything clicking for the 49ers. Why not? They're the world champs.
Let's look at the Magnum Power sales event one word at a time. Magnum, as in Magnum engines, as in Dodge Dakota pickup. A little bigger, a lot better. Power, we're talking Dodge, overall the most powerful line of truck engines on the planet. Sales, how about up to $3,000 off Dakota? An event? Well, that means this special offer ends sooner than later at America's Truck Stop, the new Dodge.
For years, I dreamed of seeing Venice with my boyfriend, Tom. I'd whisper about palazzos, gondolas. All he'd talk about is deadlines and business meetings. Finally, I went and booked 2 romantic weeks on the Grand Canal with my Visa Gold card. Tom was completely surprised.
Visa Gold. Purchase power to make dreams come true. It's everywhere you want to be.
This year, wrap up the perfect family gift at Circuit City. Wrap up more sports, more movies, more music, more news. It's the Sony Digital Satellite System. With over 175 channels, the Sony Express Navigator can tune you into any program instantly. And Sony DSS is at Circuit City right now. Get no interest for 6 months. Plus, hurry in and you'll get up to $250 towards other Sony purchases when you buy Sony DSS at Circuit City. Circuit City, the DSS experts.
Thursday, what has existed for millions of years and has the loudest voice on Earth? The blue whale. Join James Brolin for Blue Whale, largest animal on Earth, Thursday.
The 49ers at the moment lead the league in points per game, and they've also allowed the fewest points per game. A tremendous combination since the merger in 1970. Only one team has done that. The 1972 Miami Dolphins. You're right, those Dolphins, the perfect Dolphins.
And this is a tough spot on the field for a team to be that hasn't made a first down yet.
And they begin with a stuttering start as Robert Smith carries for only a yard or so. 2nd down and 9.
When the Vikings came in here, a red-hot team. They'd won 5 of their last 6 games. They had averaged, over those 6 games, 32 points a game. Warren Moon had thrown for 8 touchdowns in the last 6 games, and they have been totally ineffectual on offense thus far tonight. They have just been totally wrapped up by this defense. There it is, 196 points in their last 6 games, and they have not been able to get a first down.
Unfortunately, I think what you have here is a case of hot playing hotter.
Those are hottest.
As well as they've been playing, the Niners have been playing better.
And Moon with 18 touchdowns in those 6 games. Robert Smith makes the catch and pays the price. Flag down. Marquez Pope decks him.
This has been a textbook game so far in terms of tackling by the 49ers secondary. The tackling has been perfect. Whether or not they've been grabbing and holding on that case, in that play, we might find out. And yes, that is the case. But boy, are they coming up and sticking the Vikings receivers after they make the catch. And if this does go against the 49ers, a much needed first down for Minnesota.
Illegal hands to the face. Defense number 23. 5-yard penalty. First down.
He was within the 5 yards where he's allowed to make contact.
They're saying that the contact or the hand was still illegal.
Hands to the face first down for Minnesota via penalty. And the catch made by Greg DeLong, the tight end, and he gets taken down up at the 19-yard line by Merton Hanks. Well, the 49ers losing that game to Carolina after the New Orleans loss, and Dan talked about it. Then the resurgence beginning with the Dallas game, and here they are, and they're playing, well, I mean, Detroit's playing extremely well, but the Niners seem to be in a class by themselves right now.
And again, you hearken back to them being 5-4, and the way they overcame the fact that Steve Young missed 5 games, from Elvis Gerbach to all the other people that had to go in and play in place of the injured players. Just a magnificent team effort.
2nd and 2. Robert Smith seeks the first down and gets taken down at the 20-yard line by Ricky Jackson. And also they began the season minus their offensive coordinator, Mike Shanahan, who goes to Denver, and Ray Rhodes, their defensive coordinator, goes to Philadelphia. They just don't miss a beat.
That's an annual happening around here. The coordinator moving on to head coaching job. But I think the key to it was in Elvis Gerbach being ready to take over. When Young went down and the key game is going down and beating Dallas convincingly in Dallas, and then going on and beating Miami, and then getting Steve Young back, getting really healthy last week. 340 yards last week, 31 of 45. Steve Young is back, and the 49ers are with him.
3rd and 1 from the 20 with 10.5 minutes to go in the half. Moon on a tight roll hits Carter, and he has a first down as he's run out of bounds up at the 26-yard line by Marquez Pope.
And that's their first real first down of the ball game, that reception by Carter, and it could not have come at a better time for Minnesota, who started back inside their own 5-yard line. So good pass protection, a good rollout, and Chris Carter is going to be open. This guy will separate himself from DBs, regardless of how well the Niners play him. Chris Carter's too good a receiver to be clamped down for an entire game.
Chris now with 106 receptions for the season. And an end around here with Amp Lee. And he gets taken down, and a flag comes down as he goes out of bounds up at the 30-yard line. Marquez Pope was there again. Vikings.
Illegal use of the hands, and Dennis Green protesting. Play like that, of course, put into the offense for something they have seen, a weakness in the defense. A tough play to run against the 49ers. They are so quick defensively. They do pursue quickly, but they also react. And Pete Carroll, in charge of that defense.
Back on the offense, number 86. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Jake Reed coming back up the field to try to make a block to help out Amp Lee. Makes the hit from behind. Again, though, it's the hustling and the athleticism of a defensive team that puts their people in positions where you end up hitting them from behind.
1 yard per carry the Vikings are averaging against a team allowing less than 3 yards per carry, which is phenomenal. 1st and 16, and the catch is made by Evans, but again, a very short little gain. Gary Plummer making the stop. You know, we were talking about the coordinators moving on. You think of these two coaches, George Seifert and Dennis Green. They were together as 49ers assistants under Bill Walsh, not only here, but Walsh brought the two of them together at Stanford in 1977 after George had been fired by Cornell.
Well, it is incestuous around here, isn't it? They come and they go, and Denny Green was here twice.
Well, Cornell at least has the satisfaction of knowing that they fired one of the best coaches in NFL history. that football powerhouse.
Big Red was in the red. 2nd and 12, and the pass is incomplete. And then the flag comes down. Ismail was there, and he was double covered, and the flag comes in.
George was not high above Cayuga's waters very long.
Davis and Dodge are both there. I don't know what they're going to call. That looked like pretty good defensive reaction on the part of the two defenders. It could have been just a little early. And Fisher right on top of it. He didn't hesitate. He popped the flag right in there. Well, there's one way to move the ball. The big plays, and they get it this time from Jake Reed.
Well, take a look at Marquez Pope right here. He bites on a look to the inside and allows Jake Reed to get past him. It wasn't a pump by Warren Moon. I'm not sure what Pope was looking at that make him react back to the inside, but a major mistake.
49ers very tough defensively in the opponent's red zone, as is the case right here. And a statement sent by Stubblefield, knocking Graham down. This drive started back at the Minnesota 5 and now at the San Francisco 5, so they've moved 90 yards, but the next 5 will be very tough.
This is one of the most opportunist of defenses in the league, too. Remember the play of Plummer against, who is it, Derek Holmes of Buffalo. Plummer hit Holmes, and Woodall took it the length of the field for a TD.
3 receivers to the right. They go back the other way, and Carter makes the catch for the touchdown. It looked like he dropped the ball, but the official right there said he had possession. Marquez Pope getting a hand in, but Warren Moon culminating a 95-yard drive with a connection to Chris Carter for the score.
The rule is superior grab, a ball low and away.
Great. And again, the subtle use of the hand, too, Dan.
And that's a
Carter
good call.
is good at it.
Good call. He has possession, both feet on the ground. An outstanding call by the official.
And Reves with the point after, and the Minnesota Vikings, almost given up for dead at 21-0, have made it a game again with 8:03 to go in the first half. 49ers 21, Vikings 10.
And again, Chris Carter adds to an already extensive highlight reel.
Night.
It's one of football's great scenes, isn't it? Some steaming heads on a bench.
Hot heads, cool night. Short kick, Dexter Carter. Past the 40 into Viking territory, and then Reves takes them down in a clump at the 37.
In a what?
In a clump.
We'll do the analysis around here.
That was a clumpy tackle, wasn't it?
In a clump.
It's not recorded that way.
Little Dexter Carter like this out in the open field.
He lost his footing right here on trying to break it back to the inside. Watch him slip right there.
Mm-hmm. Well, Reves is going to tell everybody that he scared him down.
Yes. Boo. 49ers at the 38-yard line. Young hitting Stokes, and JJ to the 31-yard line for Christmas night.
I brought us some airline tickets.
Second and 3. There's the reverse. Larry Rice takes the handoff from Lavelle and takes the ball out of the 21-yard line. Roy Barker making the tackle. Bart Oates helping to lead the way for Jerry Rice, who has scored 9 touchdowns in his career on the ground.
Probably the 5th time this year that Jerry has run the football. That's not nearly as often as he normally does.
Getting ready for the playoffs.
Going from the 21, a little too high, intended for Brent Jones.
Late flag.
Flag down at the 10-yard line.
Jeff Brady wrapped up with Brent Jones and the flag thrown in their direction, and this time it's going to work against them.
Dexter Carter, and he was matched up with Harlan Barnett, the safety.
And what Carter is doing is just, in a sense, blocking for Brent Jones, who was in essence, the lone receiver, and of course you can't be blocking while the ball's in the air.
From the 31-yard line, 1st and 10, or 1st and 20 now, Rice in motion. Little dump off underneath, and that is dropped and incomplete. Adam Walker, the fullback.
And there, I think, is an excellent illustration of the fact that Steve Young
was a 6 or 7 games before the injury. Off to a great year. And this position of fullbacks has been a jinx position for the 49ers.
Second and 20. Blitz is on, and the pass is thrown into traffic. Walker, the nearest receiver. It'll be 3rd and 20. Derek Alexander and John Randall put the pressure on.
Reacting. They are blitzing. They are trying to disrupt this 49er offense. Sitting back and trying to be passive is a major mistake for them. This is very smart. And a big Dungy on the right.
Big defensive play here to try to keep him out of field goal range on 3rd and 20. And Young throws. Jerry Rice again. Touchdown.
Well, they came with just a conventional 4-man rush that time. Got no pressure on Steve Young and paid dearly for it.
And Harmon Barnett fell down on the play, the safety as well.
That was key to it. Barnett was in not bad position, and he slipped on the turf, and Rice didn't. And Fuller handing Rice off to Barnett. Not bad defense. Barnett just lost his footing. 6 points. Got the double coverage. You see Fuller up close. He's in the short. Now you'll see number 42, Barnett. Not bad position. Down he goes.
At the time of that slip, he's in perfect. He's actually about 7 or 8 yards downfield.
He was ready to make a play.
That play on a 3rd and 20, a 31-yard touchdown. Wilkins to the point after, and he hits the upright.
What is it with the 49ers and kicking the ball? It is the only thing.
27-10, San Fran. In regular season play, Jerry Rice, for the 11th time, has scored 3 touchdowns in the game. In addition, he's also scored 4 in the game once and 5 in the game once. He already has the hat trick tonight. 6:10 to go in the half. 27-10 San Francisco. And Wilkins' kick is fielded by Ismail at the 11-yard line. He had room to roam through the middle, but started to stumble and is tackled up at the 33-yard line. The Tuesday night lineup tomorrow night.
We were great.
Wait for the reviews. 1st and 10 as Ant Lee picks up 3 to the 36-yard line. Craig T. Nelson.
I believe the Orlando Ball Club, of which he is a coach, has been winless to this point.
They have been. Leading into the game anyway. 2nd down and 7 at the 36-yard line. And Moon loses the football, but it is recovered as Corey Stringer is there alertly to cover it. Ricky Jackson created it. And had Jackson recovered the fumble, he would have tied an all-time record for most opponents' fumbles recovered. He's just 1 shy of Jim Marshall's mark.
That was just great coverage again by the 49ers secondary. Warren Moon had plenty of time to get rid of the football. He 1, 2, 3, beat, look, but nobody was there. Just good coverage downfield. He takes a step, steps back into the pocket, wants to get rid of it, nothing happening.
3rd down and 10 now from the 33-yard line. 49ers up by 17. Moon, and that pass is incomplete, intended for Lee, who then gets pushed out of bounds by Ken Norton. 4th down.
And Ricky Jackson asking the crowd for their support. It's one old man chasing another as Jackson's after Moon. Ricky moves around. He plays that elephant position, which is primarily a pass rusher. First started here by the great Fred Dean.
Warren's played 18 years down in this Canadian League, and Ricky's in his 15th season. Yeah, a couple of graybeards.
Saxon to kick. Good kick, 47 yards. Dexter Carter. And he finally gets taken down up at the 32-yard line by Scotty Graham with 4:18 to go in the opening half.
There is the old bull and the young bull, Ricky Jackson and Dana Stubblefield. This guy has been a man in this league for a long time.
After Lenin, Stalin, and Brezhnev, but Here we are.
Leaders, Willie Brown, the incoming mayor, is not terribly happy with it either.
Right.
Did they change the name of the birds as well?
As Dexter Carter picks up about 3. They used to have some candlestick birds around here in the country. And the list up to the moment. This park with 23. The old Orange Bowl hosted 22. RFK's had 20. The Cowboys home with 19. And the Steelers home with 19 as well. 2nd and 7. And that is picked off at the 44-yard line. Intercepted by Donald Frank, who takes it inside the 5. And so again, just when the Vikings look as if they have expired, they're back in the game. Broderick Thomas created it as he rushed Young, forced the errant throw, and the Vikings are back in business.
What Dan said earlier, they're going to have to do something with Broderick Thomas. He came free 2 or 3 times earlier in the game. That time he was right in Steve Young's face. He may have blinded Steve Young from seeing Frank. I don't think he had a chance to even see Frank.
But again, your point is right. Frank, rather than come with just 4 men, they came with 5 and got the pressure they needed. Derek LaVille and Harris Barton, the 2 49ers. That's Jerry Rice, actually, or they're making the hit. He actually was hit by Broderick Thomas as he made that pass. It wobbled down there, and a huge break for Minnesota.
John Jarek lines up at fullback, the guard, on first down from inside the 2, and they run an end around with Carter, but the Niners smell it perfectly. Merton Hanks, Gary Plummer right there, no gain. 2nd and goal.
Well, they react so quickly.
This guy has been such a find for the 49ers. Came over here at the start of last year from the Chargers. Hanks in there as well. Hanks chasing it across the formation. There's Plummer. The 2 of them simultaneously make the hit.
2nd and goal. The Niners defensively call a timeout. Timeout, San Francisco.
Growing up around them. I mean, when are you going to start to trust me?
Here. Okay.
You're my favorite dad.
Yeah, I know.
Love ya.
Hey. Guys, take Tanya with you. I want you to get a second opinion.
I don't like Tanya.
Lines back in the game.
The chess game.
2nd and goal. Jarek lines up as the fullback in this set. Charles Evans as the tailback. Fake, pressure, Moon under pressure, throws, and Carter with those magnificent hands.
And Warren Moon's down. Boy, did he get hit by Ricky Jackson.
He was playing with sore ribs. He had to leave the game last week against Cleveland.
You have got to account for Ricky Jackson. He comes all the way from the outside of the formation, untouched by anyone in a Vikings uniform. There's Ricky. Now he's all the way at the bottom, untouched. And Warren Moon goes down and falls on that left shoulder. Jackson didn't drive him into the ground.
Well, I think it's the ribs, though. Having had ribs, I can tell you, I'm sure he probably had some kind of a painkiller going into tonight. That Brad Johnson warms up in the sidelines. You get any kind of a blow at all, it hurts. But what a fine catch here by Carter, and kind of lost in the fact that Moon was hurt was the play itself. Carter just sort of stood at the line of scrimmage like it was going to go.
Warren Moon would have been corkscrewed into the ground.
Reves for the point after, so Brad Johnson will become the man on the spot apparently with Moon hurt. We saw it.
Now we've got a couple of changes in.
Well, it's it's a little complicated, but we'll try to crystallize it for you. I know one thing, and we've mentioned it tonight, the Vikings.
He's crawling back into this thing.
It is very impressive.
Reves roll over. Reves' kick. Dexter Carter from the 5. Really banged down, hit hard by Chris Walsh at the 20-yard line.
Too many of them, that's right. Frank, you're so mean to me.
Come on, it's Christmas. From the 20-yard line, J.J. Stokes can't handle it. Donald Frank covering on the play, 2nd down.
Ooh. Not a tough pass to handle. I think Stokes probably just...
We're looking at Donald Frank slide all over the field. The flipping the Minnesota Viking defensive backs are sliding all around 3-Com Park here.
As Young stumbles, but he remains upright and hits Stokes, and that's enough for a first down, covered by Donald Frank.
Whether it's field awareness or whether it's a question of spikes, regardless of which one of the two it is, the 49ers are much more sure-footed here on this field.
And the Vikings have played their last 4 games on an artificial surface. That makes a little bit of a difference.
We saw Steve Young right there get tied up with Chris Dahlman and almost fall down. That wasn't
games on Christmas.
From the 31-yard line, first down. Young throws. Jerry Rice on a slant, loses the football. Scramble for it, and
I think Orlando
Vikings have it. Orlando, who's already picked off one tonight, would have another takeaway. That would be his 13th takeaway of the season.
4th fumble recovery. Talk about a ball hawk.
Did Jerry get hit, or did he just lose it running?
He just lost it.
Jerry's human. And Thomas is hurt.
I didn't see anyone hit Jerry Rice.
He might have been trying to change arms with it and just lost it. Thomas holding his shoulder.
He is in the middle, and look at that. He wasn't even attempting to switch it, Frank. It just popped out of there.
He just lost it.
Well, you don't see that very often. And Orlando Thomas injured.
Hit by his own man.
And Moon back in the game at the 37-yard line, first down. Warren, who was shaken on the last play, throws, and Jake Reed can't handle it. 15
interceptions. Vikings got him in the second round. Stepped right in as a starter.
And now he's only leading the NFL.
He has 10 takeaways in his last 7 games. And that ties an NFL record for most over that period of time. As Moon on 2nd and 10 gets sacked at the 29 by Bryant Young.
Oh,
and
Young
he's
hurt.
Ooh.
You know, it looks like a cramp. I hope it is.
There's hope. They missed him earlier this season. He was gone for a while.
Stubblefield on the ground. Oh, and right there you see Todd Stussy, number 73.
Oh, yeah.
Step on his ankle.
Stussy weighs 313 program weight.
Right here, that is his ankle on the ground. And Bryant Young is up and walking off the field, and it appeared to be completely inadvertent on Stussy's part.
Well, I'm certain it was.
Oh, yeah.
Stussy even looking relieved.
That's a charge timeout to the 49ers since it comes within the final 2 minutes of a half, so they're down to 1. Third down and 18. The Vikings have all 3 of theirs with 1:43 to go in the half. 27-17 San Francisco. To convert, they have to get it to their own 48. Oh, sacked. The sack by Alfred Williams, who plays in pass rush situations such as these and makes that one pay off.
Oh, but again, it's good coverage downfield. Warren Moon set up. He had the time that he needed to throw the football, but the coverage was there, and he just had no place to put it. He tried to hold on to it, and
to their reputation. You're right. Nowhere to go, and it's just because of the brilliant play of the 49ers secondary.
Now.
Ooh, that's a low one.
The 44-yard kick. Carter, who's already run one all the way back to the 50-yard line. He's tackled there. Chris Walsh again in on the hit. We have 70 seconds left in the first half.
That was set up too. Dexter knew that. All he needed was just to skip through one little tackle, and he was gone. Special teams doing a fine job tonight for the 49ers.
Give some ground because of the fact that the 49ers don't have any timeouts left.
And the Vikings also have to use Charles Mincy in the backfield in place of Orlando Thomas, who's still on the bench. Shaken on the last play. First down from the 50-yard line. And the pass underneath to Rice. And he gets pushed out of bounds after a gain of about 9 by Alfred Jackson.
Just a few ticks off the clock as he comes from the left side all the way across, takes it out of bounds, stops the clock at 1:05.
strikes terror in the heart of any defensive coordinator. Jerry Rice running that pattern only a yard or two downfield, coming across the field. It's just virtually impossible to keep him from catching it. All you can try to do is limit the damage after he catches it.
Jerry's already caught 7 for 147 yards and 3 touchdowns.
What is there, like a minute left in this game?
Seems like it, doesn't it?
Halftime.
105 to the half as Brent Jones makes the catch, and he's out of bounds, but short of the first down, so they have a third down to convert here. Alfred Jackson runs him out, no gain. 101 to play in the half. 49ers next week go to Atlanta to end the regular season. Again, if they win tonight, they're assured of a bye. If they win tonight and win next week, they're assured of home field throughout the playoffs. Third and long 1. Young has it batted over the middle, trying to throw it over the middle, and Fernando Smith is able to knock it down at 6'6" and 283.
And I think this is the right call here to go ahead and punt the football. You got the 10, and they also will be going against the #1 defensive team in the National Football League. It makes a difference.
Go with your strike. Tommy Thompson to punt. He dropped one inside the 5 the last time he kicked. David Palmer back to receive it, calling for the fair catch, and Palmer hauls it in at the 12-yard line.
What if anyone listens? They just hang around and see what happens after next Sunday.
We know why. From the 12. Warren Moon. And falling out of bounds, Chris Carter, the magnificent Chris Carter, up at the 30, and that's a first down. You know, you've got Rice and Irvin, and now the emerging Herman Moore, and then this guy. He's a beauty.
And special.
Both big. Receivers getting not new rules. They're just being enforced. The big back has such an advantage.
Beautiful. First and 10 from the 30. Moon throws, catch made over the middle. Jake Reed, another big reception. First down at the 40-yard line.
On running, and then someone as hard as they can drives down on your arm.
And particularly if you don't know they're there.
Right.
First and 10 at the 39-yard line. Moon taking, throwing. Carter open, out of bounds to save a timeout. At the 25-yard line, Merton Hanks with the coverage.
And they're within field goal range now of Quad Reves.
And with 2 timeouts remaining, the middle of the field is their oyster. They can go right ahead and work the middle.
Little crossing pattern. Difficult to cover. You get a little pick action going from the outside man. Difficult for Hanks to get over there and make the play.
Good town in which to find an oyster. First and 10 at the 25-yard line. 29 seconds left. They pick up Jackson on the outside. The catch made by Palmer. He has it to the 13. That's a first down. Then
175 for the Vikings when you consider that I believe after their first 4 possessions they had a total of 10 yards.
Steve Young pacing the sidelines. Chilly here. You're stuck on the sidelines for any length of time. You're going to get kind of cold.
And that yardage doesn't even count all of the return yardage tonight, including a 78-yard run back by Dexter Carter for a TD. 20 seconds and a timeout left for Minnesota. From the 13, Moon lofting it incomplete. Held up near the goal line was Condre Ismail, who had broken it off over the middle and covered by
Minnesota's delight.
They line him up in the slot to the left. Play clock all the way down to nothing.
Warren didn't see it at all. Boy, Warren didn't see it at all.
Totally unaware of where the play clock was, and that will cost them 5. Second down now at the 19-yard line. With 17 seconds to go. Niners on a stunt, and here they come, and Moon stepping away and then throwing it away. with 9 seconds left.
Turned about. He is always on top of the play. It would be Warren Moon. He will not hurt you in this situation.
You cannot run a slow developing play. If you're flushed out of the pocket, you've got a problem here. Third down from the 19-yard line, 3rd and 15. And Moon gets hit and sacked at the 25, and they'll have to take a timeout and settle for about a 42-yard field goal attempt. Alfred Williams gets his second sack.
Well, that does back him up from about the 15-yard line, the 5-yard penalty, and now the sack.
Well, Minnesota went ahead and took their timeout.
He's giving it a lot of thought. As I said, the Vikings have played their last 4 games indoors. This is a dramatically different surface.
Mike Saxon holds it. It's a 43-yard attempt for Reves. And the kick is perfect as the half comes to a close.
Congratulations.
Get back in it.
Congratulations to the Vikings.
Yep.
You like to see a team be able to crawl back in it and not roll over and go toes up.
Not the Vikings, and not tonight. We're at the half. 49ers 27, Vikings 20. And back we come after this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC stations.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, your stomach is about in your throat.
Niners will receive the second half kickoff. Wad Reves to boot it.
And a wild running game in the first half.
Short kick taken at the 16 by Ricky Irvins. And Irvins runs it back up to the 30-yard line. Ricky, the backup to Derek Lavelle, to the 30. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered. Lincoln Mercury in the complete line of 1996 Mercury automobiles. And Budweiser, official sponsor of the 1996 U.S. Olympic team. This Bud's for you. Orlando Thomas, who was hurt in the first half, is back in the game. The rookie who has 9 interceptions. Number 43 back in defensively for the Vikes as Steve Young hands it to Derek Lavelle, and he's taken down by Thomas after a gain of 4. And let's get an update from Lynn Swanlin.
Well, injuries seem to be the story at halftime. Orlando Thomas had x-rays. He has a bruised right wrist. Also, Warren Moon, definitely bruised ribs on the right side. And probably the man most disappointed of all, John Taylor. Hip pointer is just too painful. He is not anticipating coming back in the second half at all in this ball game. Al?
Well, it would mean John Taylor's regular season career at Candlestick Park would be history. Second down and 6 from the 34-yard line. Brent Jones makes the catch and picks up maybe half a yard as he's driven back by Harlan Barnett.
Good sharp hit on the part of the Vikings to get this second half started, who have seen their offense really come up big to get back into this ball game by scoring 20 points. But boy, they need to show that they have the ability to stop the 49ers on offense. They've had more success when they've come with some type of a blitz package to disrupt Steve Young. Let's see how they start the second half.
3rd and 6. Young throws, and that's incomplete. He was pressured, and Brent Jones was the intended receiver, and Roy Barker put the heat on.
That was a little inside deal, just what you were talking about, Dan. Something a little different. If you play them head on, they're going to block you and give Steve Young a lot of time to work with the football. But we were talking to Dennis Green last night. He said, we're going to have to change up a little bit. We're going to have to do some dealing. We're going to have to bring some blitzing, and that's what you saw right there. A little dealing on the inside with the big men.
This offensive line of the 49ers is too good, too skilled to challenge them straight up one-on-one.
Tommy Thompson to kick. Good kick. 50-yard boot. David Palmer at the 16. And David Palmer off and running. David Palmer moves inside Thompson and then gets taken down at the 39-yard line by Steve Israel.
Well, Thompson didn't make the tackle, But as a kicker, if you're going to miss the tackle and if you're going to make the return man make a move on you, make him make it back to the inside of the football field.
And if you can, slow him down just a little bit. Thompson, I don't think even touched him, but he did make him move to the inside.
See, Thompson takes the outside away, and that's a smart play, forcing him back to the inside. But this has been all the Vikings could hope for here at the very beginning of the second half. Outstanding field position.
50-yard punt, a 44-yard run back. And they give the ball to Robert Smith, and he takes it to the 35-yard line, picking up 6. And now the Vikings can go back to what their original game plan was. It's funny how it works out. You're down 21-0, you're out of your game plan. Now you're down by 7, you're back in it.
And Smith looking pretty good. He's only played 1 game. He's going back to the Green Bay game October the 22nd with a badly sprained ankle. And we asked Dennis Green about it last night. So we're going to try if he can go. And we asked him how good could he go, and he said, well, he runs to his right.
2nd and 4. It gives them their only outside threat on the ground. But not inside, thanks to Ricky Jackson.
Boy, did he smoke Robert Smith. Whoa. Ricky Jackson makes a move. He has still got the quickness. 15 years, nobody had on him. Well, you just can't overlook him.
Oh, I don't know what type of a blocking scheme the Vikings are attempting to run, but I don't think I'm going too far out on a limb to say one that doesn't account for Ricky Jackson at the point of attack is somewhat of a mistake.
They need another O to go with that X.
I would try that a different way.
3rd down, 8 from the 39. Early 3rd quarter. Blitz, pressure, Moon throws, and because there's so much pressure, he can't get it to Carter.
Oh, and boy, is Warren shot. This time it comes from the other side on a blitz off the corner. I think Tyrone Drakeford lines up on the slot receiver, and he gets about a 10 or 12-yard run at Warren Moon. Boy, Pete Carroll, who'd been pressuring Moon from the right side with Ricky Jackson, now changes it up and comes with the corner blitz off the slot, and Warren's paying a stiff price for it.
Nobody there, and Warren Moon had no hot receiver. Number 22 is Drakeford. Just a straight sprint. Warren did what he could, and he paid the price. Jackson got him from the other side.
4th down, and Saxon will try to pin the Niners inside, well, not only inside the 20, but deeper than that. He floats one, and it's fair caught at the 13-yard line by Dexter Carter.
Through of Warren Moon with his right hand. Right there, he hits the helmet of Tyrone Drakeford, the blitzing cornerback. Again, back it up. There it is, right there on the side of the helmet. They were working on Moon's finger. It looked like the ring finger or the middle finger of his right hand during that timeout. I don't know if it was cut or bruised. But boy, that the quarterback's hand and wrist is extremely vulnerable on that follow-through.
49ers from the 12 as Steve Young throws, tries to jam it into Jerry Rice, and he can't. Breaking up the play was Alfred Jackson. Got a hand on it. And a welcome to the world to one.
And Kenny, obviously a producer in more ways than one.
Yes. 2nd down. That's official. 2nd and 10. And J.J. Stokes up at the 21-yard line making the catch. Alfred Jackson with a tackle. Wanted to get that in before Pat.
For the Wolves now, as they have a new addition.
Yes, thank you.
A lot of golf for Kenny?
Yeah, right.
Not. 3rd down, short 1 from the 22-yard line. Early 3rd quarter. 49ers on top 27-20 with a Rice in motion. And Walker taken down, and in fact they lost the football. And the Vikings, with Ed McDaniel forcing the issue, have recovered the football.
That play started with magnificent discipline by the Vikings on defense, because Steve Young tries to draw them with a hard count. His head, you'll see his head snap as he tries to get them to jump off sides with a hard snap count. Watch this. He tried to get them early. They stayed their position, and then absolutely nothing as McDaniel gets in there with the initial hit.
Well, Ed McDaniel's quietly having a Pro Bowl year, even though he's not going to go to that Pro Bowl.
And here comes Moon back out.
McDaniel, the leading tackler. He's had 5 sacks, a couple of fumble recoveries. He just had a superb year. He makes a big play for the Vikings right here.
Esra Tuaolo with the fumble recovery. First down, Minnesota at the 19-yard line. The indestructible Moon back in on first down at the 19. With a lot of time, throwing a little high for Jake Reed at the goal line.
Well, that's doubly good by Pope.
Second and 10. Moon looked toward Carter. He was covered. He gets rolled down and sacked by Bryant Young.
Well, nice to see Bryant Young back in there. Remember, he got his ankle stepped on at the end of the second quarter. Looked like he was hurt. But credit, once again, the ageless one. Ricky Jackson off the corner forces Moon to step up into the...
We watched Ricky Jackson and the outstanding performance for the Saints before he came here. That was the pressure, and Moon had to step up. Stepped right into the arms of Bryant Young.
Young's second sack. Moon has been sacked 5 times tonight. Third down and 18. Warren has to get them to the 9 to convert. Jackson gets the pressure on. The pass, it's caught for the moment. Did he catch it? No.
Flag is down.
The flag as well.
Jake Reed, they signaled incomplete. Marker down. Remember, he needs to establish possession and get his feet down. Walt Coleman says it's a hold, so that's an automatic first down for Minnesota off a 3rd and 8.
Moon forced out of the pocket, and contact was before this.
Yeah. They spotted it before.
And that is a good call by the official. Jake Reed did not have possession.
Pope and McDonald both there at the end. First down, goal. The Niners very tough here, deep in their own territory. Robert Smith takes it to about the 1. Second and goal.
Take it right up front.
John Jarek, the guard, becomes the fullback. Robert Smith is the tailback. Second down and goal out of a tight formation. Smith, as he cuts it back, he is stopped just inside the 1. Plummer and Brown are there.
Well, the one thing I think Jarek being at fullback tells the defense is that it's going to be hard to get around the corner because he's not a fullback, and it's going to be tough for him to get to that corner to make a block. So you're almost forced to go between the tackles when you have a 300-pound guy at fullback.
Smith didn't follow him here. He tried to break it back to the inside, and look at that reaction. Number 50, Plummer, the key man, also in there.
Well, Gary Plummer is as good a linebacker as there is in the game playing the run.
Play clock down to 2 on 3rd and goal. Moon just does get it off and throws, and it's caught by Carter.
I don't think he did.
End zone.
I don't think he did get it off.
Well, let's see here, because the crowd is so loud, and they may signal delay of the game. And will, according to Norton.
Prior to the snap, delay of game on the offense. Still 3rd down.
Oh, that's the second time this game Warren Moon has allowed the play clock.
3rd down and goal now from the 6. Carter on a wing to the right. And the pass, Reed wide open for the touchdown.
Amazingly, on another play where they don't bother to block Ricky Jackson.
And Tyrone Drakeford fell down. So with his soft turf, we've seen it time and again on both sides tonight with the DBs going down.
Well, most of the time, those worked against the Vikings, but that time Drakeford lost his footing.
An extra point away from a tie game.
You don't even see Drakeford. He has gone down right near the goal line.
Reves bangs it through. The Vikings in the role of...
Tú te ganas relacionándote con gente como hermano. Tienes que mirar para arriba, mi amor, no para abajo.
Kick is fielded at the 13. Dexter Carter Back through the middle to the 32, the largest deficit ever overcome by the Vikings in 1977 against the 49ers. The first year Ed Barlow owned the team. Minnesota was down 24-zip, won the game 28-27. Here's your line score tonight. 8:05 to go in the third.
Vikings, and now some pressure falls on the shoulders of this 49er offense.
First down at the 31-yard line. Young, deep, intended for Stokes and incomplete. Real good coverage by Donald Frank. And again, I guess it goes in. Rooting interest all around the country in various scenarios. Second down and 10. That's incomplete.
Well, a pair of incompletions now by the 49ers. Broadway's speed guy. He's not a burner that's going to blow by a cornerback on a fly pattern down the field.
Third and 10 from the 31-yard line. Flag is thrown at the line of scrimmage. Jerry Rice makes the catch. Jerry Rice gets a block and takes it to the 28-yard line, but there's a marker down at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, but I think that was Broderick Thomas had lined up in the neutral zone. He was coming on a blitz, and it was read perfectly by both Steve Young and Jerry Rice. Broderick Thomas, who's been a thorn in the 49ers offense all night long, coming on the blitz, that time lined up offside.
Defense, number 51. Penalties declined. First down.
And a good read by Steve Young. You can see Broderick Thomas right here. Here's the line of scrimmage. He's leaned over it. You can see his helmet all the way across. He just couldn't help himself as longer and longer until the ball is snapped. He got further and further across the line.
Slant caught by Chris Thomas. Thomas making the catch again with John Taylor done for the night. Thomas out of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo gets to see some action.
Well, Chris is on only his 5th reception of the year. The Vikings have brought in Donald Frank. He's doing all the work over the left cornerback spot, where ordinarily we would be watching rookie Corey Fuller. I don't know whether anything is wrong with Fuller, but they've been going with Frank out on the left corner.
First and 10 from the 16. Young. Ooh, and Jerry Rice, the intended receiver, is broken up by Alfred Jackson. Jerry tonight has already caught 8 balls for 188 yards. He's on a career record pace. His one-game mark in receiving yardage, 241, oddly as a rookie against the Rams in '85.
It's remarkable, too. It just doesn't seem quite like that. I mean, you just expect so much from him, and he does it so gracefully, so effortlessly. You just don't realize the numbers that he's putting up every time we watch it. And major kudos to Jackson for a comeback. Got spun all the way around by Rice and got back in there and made the play.
Young throws to Stokes. Spin move again, and he takes it to the 5. Second time tonight. JJ's done that.
You're right, Dan. He doesn't have that great breakaway speed, but he is a good runner with the football after he gets the ball. He's a very heady runner. He's spun to the inside, very close to a first down. Well, it's spun right away from Jackson. And Jackson again lost his footing. Players on both teams are slipping and sliding here.
First down. First end of the slide gets the first.
There it is.
At least through the end of the year, they pay. I'll tell you what, they paid $500,000 for it, and they've gotten about $48 million worth of publicity out of it.
And that's what as I understand it, the political figures here in San Francisco are coming to that realization as well, thinking they might have sold it a little cheap.
I'm changing my name to Four Seasons Michaels. What about you guys?
The 49ers often go to Brent Jones. I think Shameless would be more like it.
First and goal from the 5. Oh, shit. And the catch is made by Walker with a flag down, and he gets pushed back by McDaniel as he reaches the 4-yard line. Been a busy night for Walt Coleman, referee, and linesman making this call. Illegal motion, says Jerry Bergman, the head linesman, who's not at, and pushes it back just outside the 10. Jerry Rice. Stokes left and Rice to the right on first and goal. Steve Young changing it. Drops it off. Catch made by Lavelle, who's been pretty quiet. Maybe should have gone with it. Dwayne Washington is also
will do nothing but improve steadily over the next couple of years.
Second and goal from the 8 with Jones in motion. Pressure. Young throws, tipped incomplete off the hands of Adam Walker, nearly intercepted by McDaniel. Tuaolo, who recovered an earlier fumble, put the pressure on Steve.
Steve Young, see number 50? That's Brady. Moving back in case Young comes with the ball. He was right there.
The footing here is becoming treacherous. Somebody from either team is slipping and sliding on virtually every play.
Third down and goal. Young throws, caught by Stokes. He can only get to the 1.5. He's tackled there by Brady, and Young goes down hard. The crowd naturally wants them to go for 6, but George Seifert will send in Wilkins to try to give him the lead.
You know, I think that's part of the footing, too. Even though you've got such a great defense, if you don't get in, you could perhaps keep them back here. And as you can see the trouble Steve Young had, and he was slow getting up.
Well, he's hit from the one side by a Viking, but then he ends up hitting Steve Wallace's left tackle. I'm not so sure that wasn't the shot that hurt him, as he took it right in the back from Wallace.
20-yard field goal by Wilkins. Remember, he missed an extra point earlier, and that could loom large before this is done. But at the moment, he's given San Francisco the lead again, 30-27. These Browns, and it's pretty fascinating, obviously, to see what happens in that regard. It's anything but a totally done deal. To the 15-yard line, Andre Ismail, and good coverage that time by the 49ers special teams. Anthony Peterson making the tackle with 4:11 to go in the third quarter.
Amazingly, just a 3-point 49er lead here. Brian Billick there, the Vikes offensive coordinator, calls him from the sidelines. Kind of unusual that he's not upstairs, but that's the way he likes to do it. Feels he's more in touch. Ricky Jackson again trying to get this crowd jacked up. He's there at the bottom.
First down at the 23-yard line. 4:11 to go in the third quarter. Robert Smith swings to the outside, and Robert Smith, for a long game, taken down finally at the 48-yard line off a Chris Carter block side.
Hello. With that sprained ankle, he's still suffering from it. But that's a good speed to the outside by Robert Smith.
That was a 26-yard pickup, the fake to Ant Lee, and then Carter gets hog-tied at the 50-yard line.
Been out of the lineup since the middle of October, and he still is the leading rusher for the Vikings. He got off to a great start before the ankle injury.
Second down and 9, and the catch is made by Carter. He initially had the first down and starts to spin around, and forward progress will put him very close to moving the sticks.
They give him a good mark, and he'll get it.
But he's going to his first Pro Bowl as well.
And well deserved. 6 49er defenders will be going to Honolulu. 3 from offense.
That's what happens when you're number 1.
Yeah. Moon deep, and against that number 1 defense, Jake Reed almost had it.
Oh, could have and should have. Jake Reed will tell you he should have. Marcus Pope again. They keep going back to Pope. Really is a position he didn't play until this year. And I think Jake just misjudged that when he dove for it and the ball hit him right in the elbows.
He had it, and then when he left his feet, it seemed to propel him just a little too far. And the ball caroms off his forearm.
Second and 10. Ant Lee, the one-time 49er, picks up about 3. Amp Lee is in his 4th year in the league, and yet since he came into the league at the age of 20, he is younger than almost 50 rookies in the league right now.
He had his career game against Minnesota, 134 yards rushing back in '92 when Dennis Green was a rookie coach with Minnesota. And when the 49ers made him available, go out, Dennis Green snapped him up, remembering that great game he had.
3rd down and 7. Make it 3rd down and 8 from the 38-yard line. Good protection, but then the pass is errant. Too high, intended for Qadry Ismail.
Oh boy, a timing pass that was just off. Ismail with a move to the outside was open. Warren Moon released it before he made the break and overthrew it. He is upset.
He is.
Take a look at it. Davis on the coverage. Move to the inside and break, and the ball's in the air right here. Just a late look by Ismail, I think. And that's what Moon was speaking to him about.
Oh, it's not a pretty head fake by Ismail to the inside. Now Saxon to punt. Niners will let it go, and the Vikings, they can't make the touch inside the 5. They had a chance.
Yeah, Walsh had a chance to catch it.
49ers on top, 30-27. Last minute of play in the 3rd quarter. Young drops it off underneath. The catch is made by J.J. Stokes, and he picks up 3.
Pattern that he ran, it ended up being a Steve Young interception because of the fact that John couldn't efficiently run his pattern, and that's the last we saw of him tonight.
Stokes has already caught 8 balls tonight for 73 yards. Young deep on 2nd and 7, and the catch is made by Jerry Rice, and he's out of bounds at the 25-yard line. He got by Dwayne Washington.
He made an incredible catch, but he made it look so easy. I think what a great pleasure it's been to watch this man.
Yeah, I think this might be another highlight catch here, a little highlight film action for Jerry Rice.
You know, he does not put his arms up too quickly. For somebody running, he does not have great speed, but he puts those hands up just at the last second, doesn't slow him down. A beautiful catch.
And that will be the end of the 3rd quarter. He has 240 receiving yards tonight.
Did you see those eyes, though? Lift that ball into the hands. That's classic.
End of 3, 30-27, and Monday Night Football returns after this from our ABC stations.
Mysterious symbols, severed fingers, lost relics of an ancient civilization. Indiana Jones? Nope.
You did something good for yourself? Like stopping by your Chevy Geo dealer during the year-end countdown and getting low 4.9% APR financing or an affordable smart lease on this fabulous Chevy Lumina. It includes great features like standard dual airbags, room for 6 adults, and powerful V6. And that's just for starters. Don't put off till tomorrow what you can enjoy today. Chevy's year-end countdown ends January 8th.
Jerry Rice, what else is new? 240 receiving yards tonight on a pace to gain 320 in the game. 1st down, San Francisco. At the 25, Young slips on the soft turf, and then the pass is incomplete. The National Football League record, 336 receiving yards. Flipper Anderson of the Rams against New Orleans, but in an overtime game. The record in regulation, 309 yards for Stephon Page of Kansas City. So right now, Jerry's on a record pace, at least in terms of regulation.
Is that his personal best?
His personal best, 241, so he needs 1 more yard. I think he'll get it. Second and 10, Lavelle taken down after a gain of 4 by Roy Barker.
Is that the first running play in about 2 quarters?
That's the first running play since last week. Let's check the numbers for the first 3 quarters. Just a unbelievable performance by the 49ers in terms of yardage, but then look at those 4 turnovers that led to a pair of Minnesota touchdowns. And actually, the time of possession favors the Vikings.
3rd and 6, ball at the 21-yard line. Young, Rice, there's a personal best. to the 11-yard line.
But more importantly, there's the first down.
Yep, and Alfred Jackson just looked around and he said, oh, man, what do you have to do?
But what a good read of his own defense. Bryce is splitting the two defenders. Steve Young right in concert with him. Hits him right in the numbers. There's not much you can do. You don't get somebody in Steve Young's face, Bryce will find that open spot.
The other amazing thing about Jerry, the man has never missed a regular season game with the exception of those replacement games back in '87. Never been hurt.
First and 10 from the 11. Lavelle to the 9-yard line. Roy Barker making the stop and not even remotely thinking about retiring. You know, guys get to that age and they start saying, one more year, 2 more years. Not Jerry. As long as he can go. Career high in receiving yards tonight, 250.
Dan touched on the reason, too, that he probably is not thinking about it. I talked about earlier the way he conditions himself, the way he works, but he's never been hurt. He doesn't have knees. He doesn't have ankles. He has no problem whatsoever. Very healthy, and why not keep playing? He loves to do it. We love to watch him.
2nd and 8 from the 9-yard line. Rice to the 5-yard line.
If Jerry was to walk away from this game anytime in the foreseeable future, I don't know that we could liken it back to anything since the great Jim Brown walked away from the game when he was still in his prime. It would cause a hue and cry around the country, I'm afraid.
That play right there is one of the reasons. Jerry has a real good knack for going down to the turf just before he gets hit. He covers it up really well.
3rd down and 4. Jerry now with 11 pin-catch games in his career, another record that he holds. Young scrambling. Oh, touchdown.
It's not fair. That's that other element of the 49er offense. We talked about it earlier. We get him scrambling down in the red zone. He'll get it into the end zone.
Minnesota Vikings all over the field.
And the only concession to his shoulder for the arthroscopic surgery for Steve was a mini spike at the end.
That was a soft spike.
Well, he played through that last week against Carolina. He took some vicious shots. 31 of 45, over 300 yards a week ago. Ran the ball well down near the goal line, just like he's doing here. John Randall, the defensive tackle of the Vikings, has to be one frustrated man. He nearly has Young in the backfield, chases him all the way downfield, and just can't cover that last half a yard to get his hand on Steve Young.
Wilkins converts. San Fran by 10 again.
Black & Decker.
Wilkins sends this kick down to the 7-yard line. Padre Ismail comes back to the middle and returns it to the 30-yard line. And that's where Moon and the Vikes take over with 12:03 left in the 4th in San Francisco. Well, the Vikings now, 1st and 10 at their own 29-yard line, 12:03 to go. The 49ers trying to cement a first-round bye, and with one more win in addition to this one, home field advantage as Moon on 1st down, looking, throws a little bit low. George Seifert trying to win his
Seifert, and they obviously have the same hairdresser.
2nd down and 10 as they give the ball to Ant Lee, and he gets it up to the 41. And a 1st down. Lee made the shovel pass famous. He also signed his number 1 draft choices in '59, got $2,000 bonuses and $12,000 a year.
He made you famous, too, did he not? Wasn't he your partner for a...
Lee is a 20-year analyst at ABC Sports.
You were just a struggling play-by-play announcer.
Absolutely.
Lee lifted you up and took you to places you've never been before.
Brought along
From what I've heard over the years.
By the great one. The one and only. 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line. And that's Robert Smith, stop for next to no gain. I know one thing, Frank. Lee still has about $6,000 of that bonus in his checking account right now.
Well, we won't get into all the details, but it was really messy.
Well, I'm glad I'm clean here.
Broadway Lee before there was Broadway Joe. 2nd down and 9. Moon throws up to the 50-yard line. It's caught there by Carter, and that's close to a first down, but will set up another third down, important third down conversion.
It'd be a good segue to also wish the very best to my former teammate and Lee's former teammate, Charlie Connolly, who's having a very difficult time following heart surgery, and we just wish him the very best. He's in hospital down in Memphis, and we hope everything works out for Chuck and Charlie.
That catch by Carter was his 10th of the game. He now has 113 for the year, tied for the league lead with Herman Moore. 3rd and a yard, and Moon will throw for it and get it. That's 11 catches for Chris Carter tonight.
The Green Bay sweep.
1st and 10 at the 48-yard line. Camp Lee nimbly takes it down to the 24-yard line. Tackled by Tim Harris. They will
recaptured his game for the 49ers. Number 99.
Minnesota at the 24. Moon to Carter. A dozen catches tonight for Chris Carter.
Boy, I like this. Is a nice drive. A nice change of pace. Brian Billy calling Frank the physical pounding that comes along with catching that many passes.
The 2nd down and 6 at the 20-yard line. Fumble, and Lee falls on it for a loss of 3.
Arms covered up.
3rd down and 9. Lee, and he can only get it to the 19-yard line, so it's 4th down and 5, and down by 10. They'll have to go for the field goal here because they're going to need one sooner or later. Gervais will come in. The field goal will be about 37 yards.
Gervais is very accurate from this distance. He's not a long kicker. His career best in an 11-year career, 52 yards.
Actually,
very accurate here.
They like to spot it 9 yards back instead of 7 or 8. And the kick is just good, just inside the upright.
Oh, that was a bad snap and a good handle.
Gary Zoner's special teams as Billick goes things over with Moon.
Mike Saxon, good place.
Mike is lonesome.
Aren't you happy to be here when something happens like this with the Jerry Rice? It's a good football game, but I mean, he just makes it something special tonight.
Almost every time we're here. 37-30. The Niners are up by 7. Gervais sends it down to the 11-yard line. Taken by Dexter Carter. Flag is thrown, and Carter is out of bounds.
Clockwise rotation. Now, that may not seem like it's important to you, but on a cool San Francisco evening when you're running full stride down the sideline and there's a pass on your fingertips, it will make all the difference in the world. Al?
All right, Len, a full-service receiver, Jerry Rice. Steve Young scrambles up to the 26 on a first down.
What is the point, though? That ball revolving the opposite direction this year?
Hello?
I'm thinking about that.
What do you think, Swanee?
You got the mood.
I don't think so. I know for a fact the only thing that goes the other way is the toilets when you flush them.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you, Swanee.
Well-traveled in Swan.
That's an Emmy. First down from the 25-yard line. Brett Carolyn, analysis you will only hear on Monday night. And the pass is incomplete, intended for Stokes. It'll
there again inadvertently, but still a shot's a shot.
Young now throwing the 46th pass of the game. Caught by Jones for a first down. So a key 3rd and 10 conversion. And Brent Jones takes it up to the 36 and the first down. A career high 46 attempts tonight for Steve Young. And 27 of those have been complete.
As easy as Jerry Rice makes it look, Brent Jones, well, I mean, he sprawls all over the place. He doesn't have all that grace and speed that Rice has on the outside, but he is so effective.
From the 36-yard line, this is Lavelle as they can begin to.
They've been so durable, too, for so many years. Had arthroscopy about 6 weeks or so ago, and it's just very slow to respond.
2nd and 8, and the catch is made by the great one up at the 50-yard line. Another first down. Jerry Rice is closing in now on the all-time receiving yards record set by Charlie Hennigan of the Oilers in 1961. Charlie had 1,746 total yards, and Rice is within 100 of that right now.
And now for Jackson, you have got to be concerned with Jerry taking it deep. At that time, just broke it off to the inside, and Steve Young reading it beautifully.
Right up to the catch, those figures are reflecting the closeness of Rice to Hennigan. The 49-yard line, Lavelle takes it to the 47. Griffith makes the stop. 401 yards in the air for Young tonight, and that's a career high.
Not too.
Mark was for attempt. The attempt is a career high, not a career high yet in passing. But a lot of time still to play, and we have a flag here. There's no play. Whistle sounding.
Injuries to Derek Deese, whether it be left tackle because of Steve Wallace and his inability to play at times. Stratford has been a real find. There's Wallace over on the 49er sideline. He's got the bad shoulder.
Young on 2nd and 11, and it's Jerry crawling for an attempted first down. He's a little short of it, and they will not give him.
Alfred Jackson plays it for the move to the inside. Jerry with just a little bit of a nudge to the outside. Jackson is there, and he takes it right on the numbers and covers it up.
And then he's trying to crawl forward. Anybody in any profession.
He's out late, 100% on every play in practice, no matter whether it's a game or practice, is 100% all the time.
3rd down and 2 now at the 42-yard line. Young under pressure from Thomas. Rice again. Unbelievable. First down to the 27.
Well, you saw the Vikings came up across the line, went man coverage, and you knew right away that Steve Young had radar lock on Jerry Rice. He's again in the slot, but with man coverage. If you allow him to release to the inside, it's over. Right there, it's over.
Get the hand up as soon as he spins away from the defender. And again, it's Alfred Jackson who'll be able to tell his grandchildren about this night. You can't believe how many times Jerry Rice beat me.
Chanting Jerry at the new 49er team records, 289 receiving yards, breaking John Taylor's old mark as Lavelle takes the ball to the 25th. Dog days of December. If the 49ers oh, I'm telling you. And then there'd be only one spot left. In the NFC. 2nd down and 8, 2 minutes to go. Young on a reverse roll is going to keep it and get taken down at the 19, at the 19-yard line. A little short of the first. Robert Griffith is there. If the Vikings lose, they can still get in. But what would have to happen are 3 things. The Vikings would have to win at Cincinnati. Atlanta would have to be beaten by the 49ers in Georgia next week. And Chicago would have to lose to Pittsburgh next Sunday. Excuse me, to Philadelphia, to the Eagles. And if those 3 things happen, Minnesota could still get in.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. 3rd and a yard from the 19. Young on a sneak.
Well, that's a pretty effective quarterback sneak. And how's that for a third?
Can beat the 49ers next Sunday, and then you'd have the NFC field complete.
Well, what has happened here is that the 49ers have tripled the Vikings with this drive right here. Talk about the old-fashioned way to protect the lead. Yeah, it'd be in big trouble.
You can't. So the Niners now
get him in
at 14. Stokes in motion. Oh, and Steve Young is going to roll. It's a little dangerous to be doing that stuff.
I can't believe they're doing this. I'm stunned. This is the second rollout on this series where Steve Young is carrying the football like this.
Quarterback sneak. You know, they're so brainy, they have figured out that if they ran enough time with the final second, remember, at the end of the play, that's when the play clock gets reset. Now he's going to take a timeout with 1 second on the play clock. So all you have to do now is run a play that takes close to 7 seconds, because they have to whistle it dead, and then the play clock would start, and they wouldn't have to snap it again.
Theoretically, he could just turn around and start running around in circles. Warren Moon, a courageous attempt at it tonight.
Philadelphia. And a little kneel down here. They're going to have to at least come up to the line of scrimmage. Green Bay and Detroit are the rest of the field. And again, if the Falcons now beat the 49ers next week, they are in. But if they lose and the Vikings win and Chicago loses, the Vikings are in. And Chicago is still alive.
They're going to have to run a play that consumes 5 seconds to keep the Vikings from running a play.
If the Falcons lose and the Bears win next week, Chicago is in. And Steve Young will take all of the time off the clock.
That didn't help the 49er running game any.
No, it won't. It won't help his career average either. But Jerry Rice just had a fantastic night. The Vikings deserve a tremendous amount of credit for going down 21-zip and coming back and tying the game at 27 at one point.
And I think those two could say, I'll see you in Canton, Ohio.
And we'll talk to you from Arizona next week, but we'll wrap it up from San Francisco in a moment, where the 49ers have just clinched a bye in the first round, beating Minnesota 37-30.